We've done something. Hey, buddy, we're ready. We're going. Tom Eberly, LL refs, Lancaster County refs. I guess is that the name? Help me with the name, Tom. How you doing?
Good. Yeah, technically we're the Lancaster chapter, but it really encompasses all of Lancaster and Lebanon. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that. And, we appreciate LLhoops having us on. Always good to get started and touch base with LLhoops. So thank you again.
Yeah, I was on your website today, and I'll put a link on our talk here for your website, and I saw that you had a lot of different guys and a lot of different things that they're doing. And how are your numbers going into the year here? Let's just start that way. Do you have referees? I know the last couple of years been a little tight from what I understood.
It's still tight as far as referees to do games. We're about 130-ish, maybe a few more. So it definitely makes it tight on league nights when there's both boys and girls going full tilt to cover those games. But we can always, as I say, I'll use this moment for a little bit of a plug, and I know you do as well. Appreciate that. Just that, if you're wanting to get into a great camaraderie, you love the game of basketball and you want to get back a little bit and you can run a little bit, it's a great avocation to do on the side. I enjoy it wholeheartedly, obviously, and makes your winters go fast. So
nice, very nice. Oh, I lost you for a second there, so I will keep talking. Assuming you can still see me.
I can.
Okay. So you're still in the recruiting phase. So if somebody wants to watching us tonight, and they're like, you know what, I'm an ex-player, I think I could do this, I could use a little change, and how would they get started? What's the process to even get started?
The easiest way to get started is go onto the PIAA website, PIAA.com. Right there, you can go on, you can look up the test. I think it's costs now around $40, but they'll send you the book to study. And then the test is online now. So you don't even have to travel anywhere. You can take it right off your home computer, laptop, whatever you might have. And you need to take that test and get a passing mark. I believe it is 75% of 100 questions is the test. And that's the easiest way to do it now. Every spring, if you're going to wait, every spring, Jay Gallagher has hosted a 3 to 4 night study session. So we'll sit down and do a video similar to this, a Zoom. Sometimes we'll do it in person if we can get a location, and we'll go over all the questions and we'll go step by step. So if you're interested, please make it known. We're glad to have you.
So once I pass the test, is there a probationary period, or you guys just jump in? And how does that work with a new official? I'm not going to say a young official, because you might have some older guys like me that could have done it 5 years ago, but I can't do it anymore. Go ahead.
Right. So once you pass the test, and they'll send you, that you pass the test, they'll contact Mike Kuhn, who's our chapter secretary. And they'll get you on the roster. You can join any roster, preferably if you're from Lancaster, Lebanon County. We, would love to have you in our chapter, but you can join any chapter you'd like, and they pass your name along to that. And then Mike will pass it along to Rick Hartle, who's our signer, and also Kyle Rodnier, who's our president. So your name gets passed up the ladder. And then you sort of, give them a contact, and then you go from there. And, there's plenty of opportunities out there.
Yeah. There's no doubt about that. Okay. So there's no probation period. We're going to get right in, and knowing Rick, they'll probably put you to work, probably at junior high level, and get to know some of the guys and get some feedback. Let's talk about feedback. Just come to the top of my head. So, I know it's waved and gone here and there and all over the place, but how do you guys evaluate either yourselves or the coaches, are they involved in any of the evaluation? How does that work? And as far as your group, once you're in, okay, now how do you get better games, better scores, etc.?
Right. So currently what we do for our newer and old is Jay Gallagher runs a new officials clinics. We just had one this past weekend. Actually, Shay, actually from Cedar Crest, had teams come in, and then we offer any new official to come out and learn and be observed by veteran officials. That's one way you get mentioned. And then a lot of times what it is it's veterans. I guess I consider myself a veteran now. Veterans, and they look at some of these young officials and they say, hey, we give Rick a blurb, and we say, hey, Rick, you might want to give this lady guy a shot, or, maybe they deserve, move up in the section ladder, depending on what they want to do. And also Travis Sorensen and Gary Morenchen, they do our rec leagues, our Christian school leagues, and our travel basketball leagues. Okay. So they have a lot of input on assigning those type of games to newer officials. And a lot of times what they'll do is they'll take a newer official and pair him with a veteran official for one of those games so they can learn. Because to be honest, that's where I learned a ton more in those younger level games, because you see things that you just not are familiar with.
Yeah. I noticed that when we cover the varsity games, at least in the beginning of the year, if there's a new official, there's always paired with two veterans, and I like that. I mean, at the beginning, when we went to 3-man, I noticed like, okay, there's a dominant guy and then there's not. But I think that's gone away. Seriously, I think you guys have done a pretty good job. Is that this is your call? This is your call, and that for me as an ex-coach and a writer who watches all this stuff, that's pretty impressive. That it's kind of morphed into there's 3 of you, not one dominant guy.
Right.
And I know you can't comment on that, but I will. So we'll go from there. So, hey, the big reason you're on here tonight, Big Eye, is let's talk about rule changes. And I want to hit on the first. I want to hit on that scorebook foul thing. Let's talk about the 4 fouls, 5 fouls, and I'll probably have some questions. And I'm sure that in the beginning of the year there'll be a lot of what's going on here. But go ahead. Let's talk about 4 fouls per quarter.
All right. So obviously you mentioned the biggest one, or that the fans / everybody will take notice to, is they have eliminated the 1-on-1 foul shot. So no more 1-on-1. So what the rule states now is that for every quarter, when the team hits their 5th team foul, it's 2 shots. So every foul after that, the 5th one, 6, 7, whatever number, is 2 shots. Then it resets at the end of each quarter. So then a team starts at 0 again in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th quarter. Now, just like old, in the 4th quarter, if it goes overtime, that carries over. That will not reset. Wherever the team fouls are at that point, the overtime carries those fouls with it. So, the rationale behind it from the PIAA word is, maybe a team can adjust quicker, and then they're not penalized. Let's say they're real aggressive in that 1st quarter. In the old fashioned, they hit 7 fouls and then 10. They're shooting a lot of foul shots the rest of the half. Where in this way, fouls reset after each quarter. They sort of get a fresh start. They can adjust. They can change their ways, if you will. And also rough play. They said that would eliminate the rough play. Chances go down because you eliminate that 1-on-1 foul shot. Okay. So that's the big one that most people will take notice to.
Yeah, that one's huge. So there was some talk about, I don't know if it was on the national level, or there was some talk about having the coaches do an option, but there's no option if you're in the fourth quarter and I got the ball and teams are whacking on me, that I get possession. That's not in the rules, correct?
No, not in the rules at all.
Okay, so we're shooting after on the 5th and more, we're shooting 2-shot fouls.
You got it.
For the quarter. And then
for
you're
the
saying,
quarter.
and over time it carries over.
And then over time it will carry
Okay.
over, but
So
each quarter will reset. Right. Mhm.
Double overtime, it'll carry over as well.
Carry over.
So
Continue on.
if we're shooting 2-shot fouls in the fourth quarter, we're shooting 2-shot fouls in the okay. All right.
You got it.
All right. All right. So that one is going to be interesting because what happens? So if you're shooting 2, I can sub in on the first. I can't only sub in on the second shot. Is that correct?
You can sub in. You can sub in after just like normal after the first, and then on a successful make.
Okay, after the first.
Yeah, yeah,
And
on a
then
successful make.
So I could hit the buzzer once, and then I get the buzzer on the second one if it's a make.
If it's a make, correct.
Okay, all right, okay. I'm thinking coaching right now. I'm like, okay, now would I have a guy there and ring the horn, and have another guy there and ring the horn again, and everybody's gonna be upset with me. Now, how long did that guy? If I put a guy in, he has to stay in. Let's say I sub on the first foul shot. Okay, first foul shot, sub in guy. I can't take him out on the next foul shot, can I? Does he have to stay?
You can take him out with another bench player, right? But the player who was replaced can't come back in until that clock has properly started.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then how about on a technical foul? Can I still sub like we used to sub in a good foul shooter for that? And then he can come right back out on a technical.
He can come back out with another substitute, right?
Okay.
Not for the person you subbed in for, but for another player. Yes.
Got it. Okay. All right. All right. That's now how does the technical work? That just counts as a team foul then, yes?
Team foul. Yep.
Even if it's a bench technical.
Even if it's a bench technical, it would count as a regular team foul, just like old. That has not changed.
Okay. Okay. Not that it's going to happen, but if you got double T's, that would be 2 fouls, right?
You got it.
It's a foul.
That would be 2 team fouls.
Okay. And I know I'm going to give you guys kudos on that too, because I saw a lot of games last year and that never happened. So that's a good thing. That's good for our refs, and it's good for our coaches, and it's good for our players. So I didn't see really, Tom, I think I saw 3 technicals all year.
Wow.
And, and that just sometimes the kid gets a little hot and has to be done, but I don't think I saw 1 on a coach this year. I don't think I saw 1. So, for whatever that's worth. I mean,
that's kudos to our coaches in our league. They,
yeah.
I think we have, things get heated and we disagree, but I think for the most part, we have that good relationship that way. It can happen, and like you said, a kid,
sure,
they can, competitiveness gets into them, and a tease part of the game. It's not a bad thing. It's part of the game.
Yeah. Now, let me put my coaching hat on here again. So when are you guys supposed to send in a form to the PIAA on technicals?
Okay, so as you illustrated earlier, if you give a double technical or let's just say an ejection, that is when we have to send in
the form.
To the PIAA. Okay. Anytime a player gets or a coach would be ejected from the game.
Okay. So. All right. Very good. Very good. All right. What else do we got? New rules this year, because you're the man. So I like to stay up on it, because sometimes, believe it or not, some people will write me and say, what was that? Was that a back quarter? Or I'm like, well, here, this is what I get. And then sometimes I come to you and I said, dude, help me out here, because I'm getting a little grief on this, last second shot where it says 0-0, but the horn didn't blow. Just little stuff, like what's a back court and all that. So what new things do we have coming up here?
All right. So another one that most people might take notice to, or your avid fans, is that if they're going to go to a team that inbounds the ball in the front court. If it goes out of bounds on the defense and they're staying in their front court, normal, on the spot where it went out of bounds. However, if there is a violation, timeout, foul before the bonus, kickball, whatever it might be, held ball, and it stays in that team's possession in their front court, there's going to be 4 spots that we can bring it in from. So if you can imagine, top of the key, okay, and you draw 2 lines straight down to the corners, like a big triangle. So it sort of goes around that top of key, but just for purposes of our and then 2 lines straight down to the edges of the court.
Mhm.
Anything on the inside that happens, held ball, timeout, whatever, we take it to the nearer spot 3 foot outside the lane. Okay. So they can bring it in right or left, depending on where the ball was at
Got
that
it.
time.
Yeah, yeah.
Anything on the outside of
Okay.
that triangle, if you will,
Yeah.
goes to one of the 28-foot markers. Now, the 28-foot markers by rule is the team bench now, the coaching box. So the coaching box goes from the end line,
Yep.
28 feet.
Yeah.
So we can, depending on which side, right or left, staying in the front court only.
Yeah.
Then you go to one of those spots. So there's 4 spots to bring in the ball.
Got it.
On that type. So any foul before the bonus and any violation.
Yeah.
Held ball, kick ball, whatever it might be, foul. And it's staying in that team's possession in their front court.
Okay.
So anytime that happens, the ball just one of those 4 spots. Now it goes out of bounds, like I said earlier. Then it goes to where it went out of bounds at. But that's another new rule they had. And here's a situation for you: is if, say, Team A is bringing up the ball, right, and Team A guard shoves off the defender, and we have a foul. Well, we got to go to one of those spots because that ball is being brought in on Team B's front court.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta make sure we go to one of those 4 spots, not where the ball technically was located. So that's something different. It's a rule brought over. So it's just something that might look a little different.
Yeah.
To us all. We're all gonna learn. We're all gonna, it's a learning curve. So
the ball's inbounded on the side. Let's say you're gonna say the 28-foot mark.
Mm-hmm.
And there's let's say you got a foul like underneath for position or a screen or something like that. Does the ball go underneath if it's underneath?
Ball would then go underneath at that 3-foot mark closest to where that foul occurred.
Okay.
Yep.
And then we can still have an inbounds in the deep corner if the ball goes out in the deep corner.
If it goes out of bounds due to the defense knocking it out of bounds, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And how about a foul in that area?
Foul in that area. If it's inside that triangle, we go to the closest 3-foot mark outside the lane.
Okay. All right.
You just have to imagine that triangle. So if it's inside that triangle, you bring it into 3 foot outside either side of the lane, whichever one's the side that it's on.
Okay, because I know you guys always talked about that and where the ball, if you took it out on the side, if it was outside of that triangle. So we're still kind of using that. It's just where the ball is placed, correct?
Correct. So now we just have 4 spots though.
Got it.
So there's no more,
Got it.
Guessing. It goes to one of those 4 spots.
And correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
There is no requirement for a 28-foot mark on the basketball floor, right?
You are absolutely correct.
Okay, because I know when we repaint, some schools still have it on and some don't, but there's not going to be it's not required to have that 28-foot mark because we used to do that and all that stuff.
Right. There is no requirement. A lot of schools have them.
Yeah.
But if they don't have it, it's going to be very close to the end of the team bench, closest to the table or directly across the floor. A little bit of judgment.
Anything else new?
Nothing new. There's a couple of things as far as the refs concerned, as far as, you can correct them if you mistakenly give the ball to the wrong team and they inbound it. So before the ball would become dead, you can correct that mistake and then blow it dead and bring it back out and give it to the correct team. So they I guess increased that time frame, because it used to be as soon as you gave the ball to inbound and they inbounded it, it was over.
Yeah.
And now they give you a little bit extra time in order to correct that before that first dead ball. So, that to a fan who is more observant, they might recognize that, but let's hope we don't let's hope we don't get to that point.
Yeah. Help me out with a couple rules that are already on the book that sometimes people will contact me about, or I'll see them at the game. And the first thing people holler at is backcourt. So tell me what the backcourt rule is. I'm bringing the ball up, and just go through some of the scenarios where it wouldn't be backcourt if the guy's dribbling, and where it would be backcourt. And even on the pass, like I see that a lot. That probably gets screamed at more than the dribbler, because I think we're pretty good with the dribble. But go ahead and go through some scenarios on the backcourt.
All right. So we'll start with the dribbler. That dribbler, if a person can imagine they're bringing the ball up, that dribbler has to have all three in their front court. So what I mean by that is they're dribbling the ball. They can have both feet in their front court and have the ball in the back court, dribbling it, and that's okay. You know, once they dribble that ball in their front court and both their feet are entirely in the front court, not touching the line, entirely in the front court, then they have established front court position. Then if by chance they would dribble the ball on the line, or they would accidentally step on the line, that is backcourt. Okay. So they have to establish total front court position. Okay. Now let's say on a pass. They can straddle the line as well. Okay, it's a little different. Okay, so they're holding the ball, not dribbling, and they're straddling the line. That's okay. If they pick up their front foot and put it back down in the front court, okay, their front foot's in the front court, they pick it up and put it back down in that front court, that's okay. But if they pick up their back foot, which is in the back court, pick it up and then replace it back into the back court, that is a backcourt violation. And that's where people, I think, get a little, they're not quite sure of, why is that backcourt, and so forth. So once they establish everything in the front court, even if they touch the front edge of that half court line, that's backcourt. That whole line coming over the line is still part of the backcourt. But once you establish front court position with all three, that front edge of that line is then considered your backcourt.
What about the kid? I have the ball, I'm bringing it up. I'm not into the front court yet. I'm still in the back court. I pass it to a kid. He's jumping from the front court to the back court. He catches it up in the air and he lands in the back court or the front court. Is that, I mean, if he straddles the line, you see what I'm saying? I'm bringing the ball up. I dribble. I see this so often. The kid's in trouble, and another kid will come from the front court. He'll get the ball and he'll catch it in the air and he'll land in the back court.
Right.
Back court or not back court?
Well, so the ball started in the back court is what you're saying.
Correct.
The kid leaps from his front court.
Correct.
Grabs the ball and then lands in the back court.
Yeah.
That is a backcourt violation, because the old adage is you are where you are until you get where you're going.
Okay.
So where was he? In the front court. Where did he go? The back court.
Okay.
So that would be considered a backcourt. Different than a defensive guy or gal, defensive person doing that. That is legal. Okay. So if they jump from their front court to intercept the ball and land in the back court, that's okay.
Okay.
If their team has possession, that's what changes that.
Okay. So if I'm in the back court, I'm dribbling the ball, I pick it up, I throw it to a guy or a gal, and they're straddling the line, that's okay, because they haven't gone 3 feet into the
correct. They're not, they haven't established front court, but those front court. Yeah.
Okay. I see that one once in a while, and it's a little
That can be tricky, especially when, as you know, when it goes fast.
Oh yeah.
I've made that mistake already, and and I kick myself later, and that's part of you replay it in your head, and you're like, so
yeah. How about, let's go to the dribble and the count thing. So I think I understand it, but sometimes people get a little fired up. It's like, well, that's a 5 seconds. So here's my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I come on I'm dribbling. I'm in the front court. I'm like probably doing a little keep away at the end of the game, maybe. And the guy's guarding me. He's closely guarded. And then I pick it up. Okay, I got 4 seconds then, right? I got 4 seconds and then 4 seconds. 4 seconds to dribble, pick it up. I got another 4 seconds. Then I got to get rid of it, or it's a 5-second violation. Correct?
Well, I guess if you're counting fast, Yeah. So technically you got a full 5 seconds.
Okay.
I know what you're saying. Yeah. You know,
Once
so
you guys hit the 5, like you're
yeah.
still on 1,
Yep.
2, 3, 4, and once that arm goes all the way to number 5,
Right.
and that could be the violation.
And that could be the violation, right? But yes, you're absolutely correct. You could be dribbling, and then you have your 5 seconds. You pick it up, you get another 5 seconds. So you can have 10 seconds total basically, if that's be. And what we're looking for though is that shoulder to get past that defender. It doesn't take much. That dribbler, if they're getting close and they can get by that defender with their shoulder, that counts starts again.
That was going to be my follow-up.
Sorry.
Like
sorry.
Seconds, it's like, no, that's fine. So if the kid, you're saying shoulder past the defense.
Yes, that shoulder just gets by that defender.
Not in ball, just the shoulder.
It's the shoulder.
The ball could be back and the shoulder. Yep. If I get my shoulder back a kid, but the kid's still there, you get a new count, but then it's a 5-second count if he turns around. If he's still dribbling and he goes back out, it's 5 as long as he's closely guarded.
If he's closely guarded, right. The defensive established good defensive position, 2 feet facing the offensive player. Yep.
He could break it again.
He could break it again as long as
as long as he's going forwards towards the basket or doing that. All right, correct. What's the distance here, big guy? I mean, I know that's tough, but give me an idea of what you guys are looking for.
The distance is you're trying to establish 6 feet. You gotta be, within 6 feet of that. Yeah. So
that's you can be pretty close to a guy without getting all over him, without fouling him, and that count's going to start.
Correct.
Okay. From the referee's point, so is there a left hand, right hand count, or not necessarily? You know what I'm saying? I see some guys go, okay, he's dribbling 1, 2, oh, he picked it up. Now you go with the other hand. Is that the mechanics or not necessarily? It doesn't matter.
Yes, that's the mechanic. Very good. Yes. So what we want to do is we want to make sure, very good. Yes. We want to make sure we, establish that we started a new count. So if we have the 5-second wise dribbling, they stop, boom, then pick it up, then we can start the other count. That way they know that a different count has started. Yeah.
Excellent. Oh man. So, I mean, they're the two things that when I'm sitting in the stands that people are yipping at, and, I'm sure you guys hear it and it's like, okay, well, if you knew the rule, this wouldn't be an issue.
Right.
This is kind of the rule. Technicals, 2 shots in the ball.
2 shots in the ball at half court opposite the table.
Okay. All right. And then I know the NCAA is different than PIAA. So if you call a foul, calls a foul, you go over and report, and then you stay right there near the table, correct? And the other officials will do their
And then we'll rotate, right? Depending on, you'll replace the guy who called the foul, basically, is the easiest way to put it. Okay. So you're coming, if I call the foul and I'm on the end line, my partner who is closest to the table will come and replace me, and I'll go and stay at the table. Right. NCAA, they go opposite, but
all right. And how about on a technical? Is it the same mechanics or not necessarily?
Not necessarily, because depending on the situation, a lot of times, depending on, why the technical occurred, sometimes if it's on a player, we'll explain it to the coach. They want to know, what happened. If it's on a coach, sometimes we want to get away. So we might walk over and be the inbounder after the 2 foul shots are taken.
All right. So that my head's spinning on this one. So a kid fouls out on a technical. Does he have to stay on the floor for the first shot?
No. You get them any type of foul out, you got to take care, and you have to get that sub in before those foul shots occur.
Okay. So on a technical, the kid can go out. He doesn't have to stay there for the first shot, right?
No. Or even if he fouls out after 5 fouls, you want to get that sub in before you even bring those.
All right. Has that been a rule change recently?
No, that's all. You want to replace that player.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm just thinking of some things.
No, that's fine.
And I'm like,
that's good.
What happens with this and what happens with that and all that. So basically, you guys are going to have to do a real good job with the scorekeepers early in the year, I would think.
Just more communication. It's going to be interesting. But
most of our schools have very experienced
excellent.
keepers and
Yeah.
people run the clock. But
They're awesome.
I'm thinking junior high. You got some
Correct.
kids that are 15 years
Right.
old.
That might be a little different. That might be a little difficult, but you got to get through it.
Yeah. Excellent. So tip off is December the 1st for boys and girls. We got a full slate of games. So going back to the chapter thing, can I work in 2 different chapters? Could I work in the mid-pen and with you guys, or do they frown on that?
That's frowned upon. Yeah.
Okay.
You want to join a chapter and stay with that chapter.
Okay.
You can, we've had guys transfer in from other chapters or transfer out to go to other chapters, but not at the same time. No.
Okay. All right. And then, are our guys at all looking to do college games?
We have a few who do, actually more on the ladies side.
Okay.
We have several who do, college officiating on the ladies side. Yeah,
E-Town and F&M and
all over. Yeah. PSAC, MAC, I forget what the F&M's in, but
yeah. Well, they switched, or somebody switched. It's Valley switched this year. They're in a different conference.
Well, they're still in the MAC. They're just on the freedom side.
Different. Yeah.
There's so many.
I can't.
That's a big conference, but so
I can't keep track of them all.
Yeah.
All right, my man. Well, that's all I had really. I wanted to really dig into the quarter thing, because I did meet with a coach the other day, and I'm like, you know what? There's a lot of different scenarios that are going to be a little different at the end of the game. The hack and the whack, and as always, you want to hand the ball in your best foul shooter at the end of the game, and that's the way it is. So
absolutely.
You and I were off camera. You said this is like your 26th year.
26th year. Yep. This is my 26th year. I've been fortunate enough, very fortunate to be part of playing, coaching, and now officiating. So it's
very cool.
It's quite the good thing.
Hey, thanks for everything. We're looking forward to meeting you and guys. I know I try to talk to everybody before the game. I tell them I'm sending their film to Mechanicsburg, and they're like, I get a little shake of the head there, but I don't think that. How do you guys do districts and states? I know our crews do those games because we cover them. How does that
what happens at the end of the year? We have a committee that sends out, and we rate each other, inner chapter ratings. So, whoever you might work with or see, so we give each other ratings, and then that's how we're ranked for districts, and then that list gets sent on to the district assigner, if you will, and then from there, then they cut it down even more, and those top 15 or so get sent on to the state assigner. So
if you guys are doing, let's say you're doing a first round District 3 game, and you're assigned another game, but you wouldn't necessarily go as a group. Like, you wouldn't have 3 guys go together first round, second round, third round, would you?
Not necessarily. No. Okay. It might be sent with two other people, or sometimes you might, but it's not a typical thing. Usually you get mixed and matched with the other top, I forget what it is, top 30 maybe, top 20 get assigned. Now, not everybody gets them, but that's up to the assigner. So
okay, good.
It's always a fun time.
No, it's always a fun time. I know I'm down there at court side and talking to you guys, and I'm sitting down there with the assigner. I said, that guy don't want to talk to me, and he's like, well, and turn around. I remember I can tell a Pat Ross story. I'm talking to him, and he says, I can't talk to you. The assigner's down there. I was laughing. Since when do you don't talk, Pat Ross? I said, tell me when you don't talk. So they're some of the guys are really, they like talking to you, and it's all a good thing. Hey,
it is.
I'll put your link for your chapter up there, so anybody that wants to do that. And I think there's contact information on those pages as well, is there not?
I think so. Yep.
Okay, so if anybody has some questions, there was a list of guys. I knew most of the guys there, and I have to. One of the things, and I know you don't control this, but we used to know everybody's names, and
Mhm.
it's been a long time since I've been in the newspaper and the box scores, and I understand that, but I can't get to know the guys as well because I
Right.
gotta go over the scorebook, and then it's, they got an initial, and I'm like, I never, when I was coaching, I never liked to call the guy by his last name because that didn't get their attention, I was one name with them. And it's like, hey, Fred, come on over here. Let's talk, Usually didn't go like that, but it's all good. It's all good. Thank you for all you do. I appreciate your input here, and hopefully we'll answer some questions. And, as the season goes on, I know we've talked about this, and I know we talked with Kyle at some point. But if you guys want to do something with us, as far as like, here's some things that we're seeing, or here's some rules, maybe a rule or a situation. If you guys want to do that, I'd be glad to post it up there. So it's something that you guys can talk internally. I know I've talked to a couple, and we all get busy, and it never seems to come to pass. But without being negative, but something comes up. Like I remember 2 or 3 years ago, we had the shot with 0-0 on the clock, but the horn didn't go off, and we had that on tape. And something like that would be kind of an educational thing. That's how I look at it. So if you guys want to do that, I'll be all for it. We could put it in words, or we could do a quick video, whatever you want to do. If that's what you guys want to do, I'm all for it. I'll give you space, and we could sit down and talk like this too. Whatever you're thinking. I'm all about you guys, and do a great job. And I hope that we get a full crew, and nobody gets hurt and nobody retires early, and none of
Fire
that.
injuries. Yeah. I mean, we're pretty good. We'll get them covered. We'll get them covered.
Good.
So
Thank you. Good luck to you, big guy.
hey, thank you. I appreciate you having me and us.